Hey guys, so I'm back. I'm showered, I'm all clean and stuff, shiny like a new penny. Alright, so, gratefully so, I have two questions that people ask me, and I think the way I'm gonna do it is that I'm just going to answer one question, and then, because it probably can get a little lengthy. The first question that I got was, where did your love for children plus babies come from, and what inspired your career choice? I am an educator. I work in SPED or special education. But I started off in working for a really large institution that studies autism. And so I worked at a high school that was dedicated to kids with autism. Instantly fell in love with it. Those are my kids. Like, I love them. I learned so much from them. Either way, so I'm also a doula. And so I'm a full spectrum doula. I can be a birth doula, postpartum doula, antepartum doula, and those women that are at risk. And so it's just a large scale of what I do as a doula, but my sole purpose is being an emotional and physical support and advocacy for those women and those families that are expecting. What inspired my career choice? Honestly, I always say that ever since I've been a child, I've always wanted to deliver babies. And people think I'm joking, but I really am not. I was obsessed with the TLC channel. My family will tell you that that was a thing that I always wanted to watch was My Birthday, which was like one of their shows on TLC. And I was always just so captivated by it. Like, I always wanted to just be a part with such a huge phenomenon. Like, oh my goodness. I went to Virginia State University, shout out to y'all. And I went in as a freshman with the major being a biology major. And my original thought was like, yeah, I'm going to go to medical school and I'm going to become an MD, and then I'll, go into obstetrics and gynecology. I'm not a great test taker, so I was extremely scared of the MCAT, if I'm going to sit here and be honest about it. Scared to take the MCAT, and I had a particular professor. You want to do what? Yeah, you'll never make it. You want to be a doctor? Yeah, you'll never make it. That experience in itself ended up being a big hoopla. Since then, I was a little discouraged. And I really was just like, wow, maybe I can't make it as a doctor. Either way, so I fast forward, I graduate. Of course, after graduation, everyone is confused about what are they supposed to do? How do you get to where you want to be? Everything is so confusing. It's really hard to get a job. We all know they want you to have a certain amount of experience, and I'm just coming straight out of school, but no one wants to help me gain the experience. All of it is confusing. To do after undergrad, because I did not know what else I wanted to do. I felt like I had pressure to go to a graduate or master's program, but I was so tired of school. It took me 4.5 years to graduate undergrad. And if anyone has ever done a biology program, it's really hard to do a biology program in 4 years because most biology programs have a curriculum that is 4.5 years. So I was waitressing at Red Lobster, and I still knew in my heart of hearts that I wanted to be involved in this phenomenon, this miraculous process that God has allowed us to experience generations and generations and generations. It's just how we get here, right? It's how we populate the earth, is that women are these vessels to the growth of humanity. It is so miraculous to me. But I wanted to figure out, well, how do I still keep my hands in that? Because I really do feel like it's in me, like I just couldn't escape it. So 2015, I had a sister who was having a baby, and I have a sister who was having a baby. And my family, shout out to them, are really supportive of my dreams, really supportive of my missions in life. And so my sister, knowing that I don't have too much experience, asked her doctor to, hey, so I have a younger sister. She wants to do what you do in life, and do you mind if she assists you with this birth? Luckily, so this doctor was an African American doctor on a Navy base. Shout out to you. She was like, yeah, we're gonna get her in here because we need more women that work in the birth field. So all these things, we were racing up and down the street trying to get her to go into active labor. And it came time to go to the hospital. And they said, well, you're gonna go take a nap because you're gonna need it, because when it's time to go, it's time to go. And I'm thinking that I'm just gonna be in the background, and she's just gonna show me what to do. I'm laying on the couch in like this little lobby area, waiting for my sister to start pushing. And they're like, yeah, Dre, go ahead and rest up because you're gonna need it. So I go, they rope me up, put on the gloves, everything is moving super fast, all these bright lights. And so I go into this room, and so she's like, I want you to stand right here. And so my sister is on this table, you know, she's on this table getting ready to push. And so the baby is already crowning. You're gonna put your hands here. And so she's giving me instructions of like putting my hands here, and I'm thinking that she's gonna do it, but she's like, no, I'm gonna stand behind you, I'll be your support, and I'll tell you directions of what you're supposed to do, and you're gonna deliver this baby. And so like, I'm gonna deliver this baby.
I'm like, what if I break it? I don't want my sister to break me because I broke her baby.
So I go in, she's like, put your hands here, you know, gradually. And from that moment, 2015, my soul, the fire inside of me was ignited. Like, I was just like, oh my goodness. Like, just looking at this little baby and holding my niece, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. Wow. And my sister's like, you delivered my baby. Like, I can now say that my sister delivered my baby. I was really grateful. I just remember being really silent and just looking at Malika, my niece's name, looking at Malika and just being like, wow, this is astronomical, and I'm really grateful to have been a part of the experience. Okay, so 2015, so I'm trying to keep myself encouraged. So like, so how are we gonna do this, Dre? Because what I did know is that I did not want to take the MCAT, but I'm like, okay, I guess I'm gonna have to prepare myself to do so. And so going and doing research, and I'm going through all these things. Okay, so maybe I'll become a PA, or maybe I'll become a midwife. And so I started to look into programs where I could become a midwife. And then it got to a point where I was like, well, I don't want to stop here. So I'm just going to try to get my hands into whatever I can get my hands into. And so doing research, I came across the word doula. And so I started to watch YouTube videos on doulas, and like started to do research and things. I'm just like, oh wow, like maybe this would be a fit. Maybe this would be a fit. I'm still having in the back of my mind that I wanted to become a midwife, but knowing that that was the longer track, and so I was just ready to get into it, right? And Doula had a program that they were offering at this community college, Howard Community College here in Baltimore, well, Columbia, but I'm from Baltimore. And so I was working at Red Lobster as a server, and I was taking up classes here and there, psychology and things like that. Like, it wasn't required for me. So I'm taking classes, I'm a server, I am still very active in my ministry, all those things that I was still doing day to day. What else was I doing at that time? Because literally, I think I worked 2 jobs because I think I was also nannying, but I'm always in something. I gotta keep moving, I gotta keep going. So I decided to do this program, and this program was just a couple of days, but the days were 8 hours. So, and there is this instructor, Miss Watson, shout out to her, and there's a couple of other ladies, and I'm the youngest one that is in this classroom, right? So I got the baby face, I'm the youngest one. All these other ladies have had babies, or you know, they're older than me and changing careers, or like they're nurses, and like I'm like, okay. And I started this training, and I fell in love again. I'm a hopeless romantic, y'all. But this time it was just like, wow. I was able to learn all the terminology and the stages and what active labor looks like, and like all these comfort measures and all these things, and how to be a support, and how, you know, aromatherapy, and how the essence of nature is really helpful in the body, in the woman's body process, the natural body process to deliver a baby. Everything was just so astonishing for me. Some had a snowstorm that year, and so the program was only supposed to be like a week long or something like that, but it extended into like 2 weeks long because we had a snowstorm. I had, in between that, I had a niece that was born. My car got stuck in the snow because I went to go see my niece, and then it was a thing. But I graduated from this program, and I immediately jumped off the floor running. Right now, in March, I had my first birth after being a doula. 2016. I had my first birth after being a doula. And this person was my cousin, or is my cousin, or my sister's cousin, but you know how Black people do, you know, family is family, it's extensive. And she had a in-home natural birth. So everything was set up at my house. I was a server still working at Red Lobster. Everyone knew that I was training to be a doula. So my staff knew that, like, hey, I'm on call low key, like, being a server is not my lifelong dream. So this is just a stepping stool. I just need to get this bread, you know, and get out. So my cousin, who is also Native American and Muslim, so those two practices and how they honor birth, she had a lot of customs and Native traditions that she wanted to incorporate into her birth. And this was not her first at-home birth, but this was her first at-home birth, having a doula. And so I got that call like, hey, active labor is happening. Her midwife was at the house. And so I go to the house, and the way that she wanted to set it up is that she wanted to, the doorways of the house was blessed with rose water, and she did like a native drumming and all those things. And it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. And then the real work started. Boom. Whole house asleep. Everyone's, doing their thing. The kids are asleep. The baby's dad is sleeping. My sister's sleeping. The midwife is sleeping. And it's just me and Maha. We're going back and forth. We in and out the tub. We swaying back and forth. I'm doing my doula thing. I'm really excited because I'm getting to use my training. I'm getting a feel of like, what does this feel like to have to just connect with another body, another soul, another spirit, and helping her to usher in another spirit, to the point where she's like breathing down my neck. And I'm like, girl, if we weren't cousins, then you would have thought that we was, you feel me? You thought you was my girlfriend or something. Breathing down my neck. And she's whispering like, we can like make it, we can sneak out the back door. And I'm like, no one's sneaking out the back door with you. And you got this. So I'm doing my doula thing. And then a couple of hours later, we had a baby. I think at like 3 a.m. we had a baby. Beautiful experience. She did a phenomenal job. Again, it was just another fire ignited in me that like women are so powerful. Women are so majestic. It is absolutely an honor to be a part of this process. So yeah, that was 2015 that I started that journey, and then from thenceforth I just tried to take off the ground running. And so assisting people in births, I had people from all over the country like, hey, friends and stuff that would move, like, I'll fly you out. But of course I'm still working multiple jobs. I'm still trying to get this thing underway. I'm still trying to get completely certified because you have to have a certain number of births, and just life is happening. But I was still doing my thing. I'm still helping people. If I couldn't make it to the birth, I had one birth that I was literally putting gas into my car to get to Virginia. But and the dad, they had FaceTimed me, and things were just moving too quick for her. And so literally assisting birth over the phone. And this is before I actually became certified to become a virtual doula. And so that was my first time being a virtual doula. But baby got here safe. The birth was beautiful. But yeah, this is how I got into the choices and my career choices that I have. I absolutely love it. And I've been great. I've been blessed this year to have 2 births, and I have a couple more before the year ends, or at least one transitioning into the year ends and one begins. And I can still say 5 years, I'm still astonished. I decided to get retrained through another association, Ancient Song Doula Services, because I wanted to then embody doula work with a social justice and a woman reproductive social framework. And so standing up for Black and brown women to kind of fill in that gap of the commodity and the mortality rate that we have going on with not listening to Black women and Black and brown women, and like just the high infant and women mortality rate that is happening. And so yeah, that's just a tidbit of like how I got into what it is that I do, because I love it, and I'm blessed to be a resource. I'm blessed to just be a part of something that is greater than me, and that is a phenomenon. Like, this is just something that will never change. And I wanted to honor the Black and brown ancestral practices of being a doula, because before there was a word, it was just community, and this is how women brought forth babies and generations to come. And so I wanted to be a part of something that was great. Until this day, it is amazing to me to see my very first babies, my very first at-home delivery as a doula, and my first vaginal hand delivery And to see them, they're both 5 right now, 5 and full of personality and just the smartest little ladies I've ever seen. And so it's amazing to walk around and be like, wow, how bring you here? It's amazing. It's an amazing feeling. So that's it, guys, because now I have to jump off of here and go be an educator and do that thing that I do, which is multiple things a day. But that is my story of how I decided to get into birth work, being a doula, and so now owning my own doula business. And yeah, that's just part of me. It's a big part of me, but that's part of me. So I'll check you guys out later. So guys, I'm dropping a picture in of my babies that started the journey. Also, guys, make sure that you like, share, comment, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time.